A Tesla Model S in Germany recently crossed 900,000 miles on its own original battery pack. No special equipment, no secret software, just a handful of consistent habits repeated over years of daily driving. Most EV owners are quietly shortening their battery's life right now through things that feel completely normal. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do differently. The goal isn't perfection. Before anything else, I want to reframe how most people think about battery care. The goal isn't to baby the battery. It isn't to never fast charge, never park in the sun, or track your state of charge every hour. That's not sustainable. And frankly, it isn't necessary. The goal is to reduce unnecessary stress over time. Battery degradation doesn't usually happen in a single dramatic moment. There's no one afternoon that kills a pack. What happens instead is quieter, smaller habits that repeat across thousands of drives, heat that builds up across hundreds of charging sessions, stress that accumulates in the cells week after week, until the capacity that was there a few years ago simply isn't anymore. Most of the damage is invisible while it's happening. That's what makes it easy to ignore and makes the habits that prevent it so worth building early. Long battery life comes down to one consistent principle: keep the pack away from extremes. Not perfectly, not obsessively, just consistently enough that the chemistry inside the cells isn't being pushed harder than it needs to be. Everything in this video follows that idea. Tip number 1, use fast charging strategically. Fast charging is one of the greatest selling points of modern EVs. Pull up to a DC fast charger, plug in for 20 minutes, and get back on the road. It's genuinely impressive technology. It's also one of the easiest ways to accelerate degradation if you lean on it as your primary charging source. Here's what's happening when you fast charge. Pushing high current into the battery generates heat as a byproduct. The faster the charge, the more heat produces. Under normal conditions and occasional use, the thermal management system handles this without issue. The problem develops when fast charging becomes the default every day, every session, heat building on heat across years of driving. Fleet data consistently shows that vehicles relying heavily on DC fast charging see noticeably faster capacity loss than those doing most of their charging on level 2 AC at home or at work. The difference isn't dramatic over a single month, over 3 to 5 years. It's measurable. The approach that works long-term isn't avoiding fast charging, it's using it the way it was designed to be used for road trips, for emergencies, for situations where time genuinely matters. On a normal Tuesday commute, when you have a charger at home, level 2 is the right tool. Save the fast charger for when you actually need it. One more thing worth knowing: if you fast charge, stopping around 60 to 80% is better than pushing to 100%. The final portion of a fast charge is when the heat load spikes, and the battery management system throttles the current to protect the cells. Stopping earlier is faster anyway and easier on the pack. Tip number 2, reduce heat whenever possible. If there's one factor that battery engineers consistently point to as the primary driver of long-term degradation, it isn't how many miles you drive, it's heat. Temperature is the silent accelerant behind almost every chemical process that wears a battery down. At normal operating temperatures, roughly 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the pack manages well. Push above that range consistently, and the same reactions that slowly age any lithium-ion battery begin moving faster. The most damaging scenarios aren't dramatic. They're ordinary. Charging a battery that's already warm after a long summer drive, parking at a high state of charge in a hot parking lot for 6 hours, running repeated fast charges during a heat wave without giving the pack time to cool between sessions. None of these is catastrophic on its own. All of them add up across several years of summers. The practical side of this is straightforward. On hot days, park in shade when the option exists. A covered garage, a shaded spot, even a tree makes a difference over a 6-hour parking session. Let the battery cool for 30 to 60 minutes after a long drive before plugging in. Use your car's preconditioning feature in the morning while it's still connected to the charger, so the cabin and battery reach temperature on grid power instead of battery power. These aren't inconvenient habits, they're just slightly different sequences from what most people default to, and they matter more than most others realize. Tip number 3, avoid keeping the battery at 100% constantly. This one surprises a lot of people. A battery sitting at full charge is under more chemical stress than one sitting at 50 or 60%. At maximum state of charge, the cells are at peak voltage, peak internal pressure, peak energy density. Under moderate conditions, the battery management system handles that without significant issue. Pair it with sustained heat, and it becomes one of the fastest paths to long-term degradation. I want to be clear here. Charging to 100% occasionally is completely fine. Before a long road trip, charge to full. If you need maximum range for a specific day, use it. The battery is designed to handle that. The problem is making it the daily default. Charging to full every night, parking at 100% through a hot summer, through a hot afternoon, repeating that pattern across years of ownership. That's where the slow erosion happens. 2 or 3 years in, the range is quietly lower than it used to be, and nobody can point to the exact reason because nothing dramatic ever occurred. Most manufacturers and battery engineers recommend keeping daily charging between 20 and 80% for exactly this reason. If your car allows you to set a charge limit, and most modern EVs do, setting it to 80% as your everyday default costs you almost nothing in real-world range terms for typically commuting distances. What it gives back is measurably less stress on the pack across every hot day, every overnight charge, every season you put on the car. A high state of charge combined with heat is one of the worst combinations for battery longevity. It's also one of the easiest to avoid. Before we go any further, if this kind of practical EV content is useful to you, hit subscribe. I publish regularly, and the next video is going to cover something most EV owners never check until it's too late. Tip number 4, avoid extreme low battery levels too often. The other end of the range matters just as much. Running an EV down to 2 or 3% occasionally isn't going to ruin the pack. The battery management system already maintains a buffer at the bottom to prevent true deep discharge. But repeatedly running the battery extremely low, making 5% your regular refueling point, adds unnecessary stress to the cells over time. At very low states of charge, internal resistance increases. The battery has to work harder to deliver power, especially under heavy load conditions like highway driving or climbing a grade. Do that repeatedly enough, and the cells accumulate wear faster than they otherwise would. The simple version of this tip: treat the 20% mark the way a gas driver treats the low fuel light. It's not an emergency, but it's a signal to plug in sooner rather than continuing to drain. Keeping the pack in the middle band, roughly 20 to 80% for most of your daily driving, is the easiest thing you can do to extend battery life. Not obsessively, just a general orientation. Occasional lows are fine. Constant extremes are a different thing entirely. And lastly, tip number 5, let the battery management system do its job. Modern EVs are significantly smarter about battery management than most owners give them credit for. The battery management system in your car is monitoring temperature, voltage, current, and state of charge continuously. It's already adding a buffer at the top so you never actually hit true 100% chemical charge. It's protecting the bottom, so a 0% reading doesn't mean the cells are fully depleted. It throttles charging speed when the pack is too warm. It adjusts power delivery in extreme cold. It's doing a great deal of the protective work automatically. The smartest thing most EV owners can do is work with that system rather than against it. That means using scheduled charging to finish a moderate state of charge rather than sitting at full all night. It means letting the car precondition the battery before a fast charging stop. Many EVs do this automatically when you navigate to a charging location. It means keeping the software updated because manufacturers regularly push improvements to thermal management and charging algorithms through over-the-air updates. The owners I've seen with the healthiest batteries at high mileage aren't doing complicated things. They're keeping consistent habits, trusting the system that's already built to protect the pack, and not forcing the battery into situations the software is especially designed to avoid. That last part matters more than most people realize. The engineering in modern EV battery systems is genuinely sophisticated. Your job is mostly to give it the conditions it works best in. Here's what I'd personally focus on. If I owned an EV and wanted the battery to be in similar health at 200,000 miles as it is today, here's exactly what I do. I set my daily charge limit to 80% and leave it there, not because I'd never charge to full, but because the routine default matters more than the occasional exception. For most commutes, the difference between 80 and 100% is invisible in practice. The difference in battery health over 5 years of daily charging is not. I'd let the battery cool before plugging it in after long summer drives. Not hours, 30 to 60 minutes is enough. Then I'd set overnight charging to finish close to my departure time rather than sitting at the target charge for 6 hours. I'd reserve DC fast charging for road trips and actual time-sensitive situations, not convenience. Level 2 at home is the right tool for daily life, and the battery responds to that distinction over time. I'd park in the shade whenever the option was there. On days above 90 degrees, That single habit changes how hard the thermal system has to work while the car sits, how warm the battery is when I eventually plug in, and how much unnecessary heat the pack accumulates across a summer. And I'd pay attention to the car's preconditioning features, using scheduled departure times in winter so the battery is warm before I leave, running the cabin cool in summer while still connected to the charger. Grid energy spent on temperature management is energy the battery doesn't have to spend. None of this is complicated. None of it makes the car less convenient to own. It's just a slightly more deliberate version of what most people already do. And across 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000 miles, that deliberateness compounds into a battery that still has most of its original capacity. The Tesla in Germany that crossed 900,000 miles didn't get there through luck or exceptional hardware. It got there because someone made consistent choices day after day that kept the pack away from the conditions that age batteries fastest. That's available to every EV owner. The hardware is already there. The habits are the part you bring. Drop a comment below on what your daily charging routine is and whether you have noticed any range loss since you bought the car. I read every comment, and it always shapes what I cover next. Subscribe if you found this useful. There's a lot more EV content coming, and I'm not done with this topic yet.